Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Pod 999 podcast, where these spirits are dying to tell their tales. It's time to meet your ghoulish co-hosts, Dave Adams and Dave Madrin, as they'll be your guides through shadowy stories, chilling curiosities, and mysterious mischief centered around all things Disney and more. And do remember, there's always room for more. So settle in, light your lantern, and beware. Some of what you hear may follow you home.
Well, the ghost host said it the best. You have the one, the only Dave Adams coming to you live and in living color from the top of the state of Alabama. And before we get into this, laissez les bon temps le rouler. It is Mardi Gras season here in the Pod 999 podcast studios. And Dave, we are letting the good times roll because we got some great things to talk about with Disney, don't we?
100%. I just would like to begin by saying Happy Fat Tuesday to all of those who
have we ever considered, does Tuesday like being called fat? What if he just likes being called pleasantly plump?
Bro. Whatever they want to be called. I mean, if that's the culture we want to present on this podcast,
it's not.
If that is how we need to tread on this podcast now, then pleasantly plump it is. It is pleasantly plump Tuesday.
And let's also
pleasantly plump Tuesday to all those who participate.
Let's also remember that the great thing of Mardi Gras was started in the great state of Alabama. Even though Louisiana gets all the credit for it, it was started in the great state of Alabama.
Well, that's probably because they do it better.
I will admit that. They do it better in New Orleans, but Mobile started it.
Morality-wise, there's not much there in Louisiana. Hey, and let me tell you, like, I love our Louisiana folks. Like, we're both, I neighbor Louisiana. You're not far from Louisiana yourself.
I love the Cajun food.
Yeah, I'm probably 3 hours and 15 minutes from Shreveport. So not that they've ever gotten any of my money, but I'm just saying, like, I'm right there, so, yeah, we love Louisiana, love their food, we don't get Tiana. We don't get Princess and the Frog. It's not for good friends in Louisiana.
I love Princess and the Frog. In fact, I will gladly say that is my daughter's favorite movie. Tiana is Ellie's favorite princess. Always has been.
Autumn's favorite princess. She went through a phase not too terribly long ago where, and she's 16 now, but she was watching that movie once to twice a day.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying there is.
But
I'm just like, our time is limited. Our time is limited. Watch something like The Little Mermaid, okay?
But then when you go and look at that, Little Mermaid had some pretty bad parts in it too. I mean, she was a 16-year-old saying, my dad just shouldn't yell at me. No, sorry, girl. 16-year-olds get yelled at.
Yeah. I'm a dad and she's 16. And
you're a dad of a 16-year-old.
Yeah. It doesn't happen as often, but yeah, it's happened before.
Yeah.
So, but hey, we're not here to talk Princess and the Frog. We're not here really to talk Tiana to a greater, in-depth length. Not here to talk Ariel and Little Mermaid at a extended length. We're here to talk about the latest and greatest and all things Disney news you can use, Disney parks, Disney ships, Disney management, moving out, moving in, moving up, moving down, all that kind of stuff.
So we will get into the big news, and this whole episode is just going to be Josh D'Amaro centered. But there is
Tomorrowland.
D'Amaro. Yeah, he is now only the second person to have a entire land named after him. I mean, Walt Disney, of course, has the parks named after him.
Yeah.
Josh D'Amaro has D'Amaro Land named after him. But we will.
Eisner doesn't have parks named after him, but he's got his name out there a little bit too.
He does, but he doesn't have a whole land named after him. But we will be talking a lot of Josh D'Amaro. We will go over his past at Disney, and we will maybe get into what do we see as Bob Iger's legacy down the road if we look into our crystal ball. But there is some cruise news you can use to talk about. The Disney Adventure was in Port Canaveral while we were basically an hour away.
Yeah, just down the street.
It has now made its way to Los Angeles, the Port of Los Angeles.
Yep.
It will very soon, in a matter of weeks, start making its way over for the first cruise out of Singapore.
Yeah, that inaugural.
If you have seen the pictures inside, the food that is going to be offered on the adventure, holy crap. Dave, you have yet to respond to me and everybody on Team 999 about doing a travel agent fam on the adventure. I think I'm going to put you on the spot here. What about doing a Team 999 podcast cruise or just team cruise on the Disney Adventure?
I love the sound of that, but no.
Okay. This is the first time you've actually said no. You could have said it on the Facebook group.
I could have, but big moments deserve big audiences.
Okay.
I mean, like, that audience is very important to what we do.
It is.
This audience needs to know where I stand.
Well, okay. Fine. You can't blame a guy for trying.
I don't blame you.
The Disney Adventure is going to be something amazing. And not only do we get the Disney Adventure starting in March timeframe, we also today, when we are recording this podcast on Pleasantly Plump Fat Tuesday, you can start booking 2027 Disney Cruise Line fare.
Yes, sir.
We found out that there is no Galveston on 2027. What happened with that, Dave?
I'm a little bothered, but here's what I'm hoping for.
Okay.
I would be surprised by this move. Be very surprised by this move. But what I'm hoping for is when we get that next ship, a 27 ship, when it comes out, I would love for it to show up in Galveston.
I wouldn't put it past them.
I don't know that Disney would do that. They love to showcase their pretty new toys in Miami, in Port Canaveral, in Fort Lauderdale. I might be a little bitter about that because I do believe Galveston is deserving and worthy of all things new Disney Cruise Line ships. Josh D'Amaro.
I mean, Galveston is a big port, and it basically it's Disney's opening to Mexico, because right now you have to go around the tip of Florida to get to the Western Caribbean.
Yeah.
If you put a ship in Galveston, you hit the entirety of the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, whatever you want to call it these days. We are not political on this podcast, so I will call it all of the above.
Not at all.
I do think that maybe has some legs there, Dave. Now, are we going to start
around? Pun intended.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, like the Galveston market is growing, and I get it, folks. I live in Dallas. Like, I'm very partial. I grew up in Galveston. Like, that's home. This is home. The state's home. Cruising is a huge industry for our state, but the Galveston cruise market as a whole has grown exponentially.
Yep.
I mean, brand new cruise lines are coming in and saying, hey, we are investing millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars into Galveston being our home. Whereas Disney's like, oh, well, we'll give you 3, 4, or 5 months. We'll give you the last part of the fall, and we'll give you a lot of the winter and a week or two into the spring, which, hey, we're grateful for. And the last I checked, the Disney Magic wasn't going out empty.
Never.
I mean, just this last week, you had our guy Nate on there doing a great thing. For those who kind of follow Paging Mr. Morrow, he's a pretty, I guess you could say, pretty famous YouTuber, if you will, in Disney circles.
I would say now
Magic.
I would say now that unfortunately the passing of
Adam the Woo.
Adam the Woo, I would say Nate Paging Mr. Morrow is the name.
He's right. He's right there for sure. And so you had Disney Drew on the Magic, the sailing before that. So like they are putting Disney's very they're targeting Galveston and they're targeting the Magic for good reason. But when the Magic leaves here, it is going to be its final sailing out of Galveston.
Interesting. That is very interesting, considering what we heard earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Which also leads me to believe that there is some credence to your thought about the new ship.
Well, here's another pun for you, and it's very well intended. If Josh wants to make a huge splash in the DCL market, he'll bring a new ship to Galveston in 2027.
I like that. I mean,
you've got the Icon of the Seas with Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Guess what? Starting August 2027, it's going out of Galveston. It's going to pull a lot of that traffic that Disney previously had. So how does Disney combat that? They combat that by putting their newest ship in Galveston.
I don't know if we'll have a new ship ready by 2027. I mean, that one, we don't even have a name for that ship yet. But I do believe that would be time to put maybe the Wish out to Galveston, because right now you're going to have the Treasure, the Wish, I think the Fantasy is taking the Wish's old sailings.
Yep.
So I think if you're going to do something in Galveston in 2027, I think you put the Wish out there, which is the new Titan class is what they're calling it.
Yep.
You put the Wish in Galveston for the time being. And then when this new one, I am calling it the Journey, because I do believe that's the new name. I believe you put the Journey in Galveston in 2028 and make that an attraction to go see. Right now, Fort Lauderdale is the attraction for the Destiny.
Right.
You've got the Treasure in Port Canaveral.
Yep.
You put the new ship in Galveston, puts a huge focus right there in the middle of the country for all these people who have never been on a Disney cruise.
Right.
Or at least never been on a newer Disney ship.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah. And the Magic's the OG. And again, it is done well in Galveston.
It's beautiful too.
It has been well received over the years. It has done great business for Disney destinations as a whole. But Galveston, they deserve something new.
Yep, I agree.
What's
And
something new, Josh?
I love that we're getting what did they say? They said by 2030 something,
Yeah, I
we
think
have
31, 32, something like that.
8 new ships coming.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have, and this is just me spitballing, we'll have a new ship in Alaska. We'll
Yep.
have a new ship in the Japanese market.
Yep.
We'll have a new ship for the Mediterranean market. We'll have a new ship for Galveston. We'll have a new ship for the Los Angeles market. Right now, we don't have any new ships
Oh.
in the Los Angeles market.
Oh, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's where the Magic's heading to next.
It is. It is. So that's 5 right there.
And then it'll go up and do Alaska season.
Yeah. So Disney Cruise Line, there is we say it on this podcast a lot, and it's said every day, every 20 minutes at Disney World. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow coming for Disney Cruise Line,
Right.
and I think the world is looking forward to what Disney's doing with the cruises, but not just cruises, Dave.
Oh no, no.
The world is looking forward to what's coming for Disney, and
Man.
we talked about it on our quick 15-minute episode a couple weeks ago. Josh D'Amaro, starting a month from today,
Yeah,
it will be CEO of Disney Corporated. Not just the parks, not just the movies, not the cruise line, all of Disney.
WDC.
And I think that's huge for Disney. So I did a deep dive in the last couple of days of Josh D'Amaro and his career. Let's just go ahead and I'm going to lay out what Josh D'Amaro is.
All right, let's hear it.
Josh D'Amaro started at the Disney company on the ground level. It doesn't say where he started, it just says at the Disney company on the ground level in 1988.
Yeah, as a cast member.
As a cast member. So not even an Imagineer. He probably was taking tickets at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you he was, but he was doing something very, very ground floor. He's a I can't say the name of the state. Massachusetts. That one.
Yep.
He's a boy born in 1955. Worked, like I said, ground level of Disney. Then from 1998 to 2008, he was the VP of Sales and Travel Trade Marketing. So, Dave, he helped with travel agents.
Yeah.
So he knows our line of work.
That's right.
Very well. Then from 2008 to 2010, he was the CFO of Disney Consumer Products and Licensing. So he has gone from taking tickets to VP of Sales to consumer product licensing. Then he went from 2010 to 2013, he was the VP of Adventures by Disney. And not a lot of people know about Adventures by Disney. If you don't know about Adventures by Disney, you need to go look it up because it is basically Disney's luxury travel brand.
Right.
They
or land travel.
Even some cruise. They do have some river cruises.
Yeah.
But it is basically the creme de la creme of Disney travel.
Right.
I just quoted a Disney Adventures by Disney to a couple the other day in London, and I am blown away by what they offer. So anyway, from then he goes on a rocket ship. From 2013 to 2014, he was the VP of Animal Kingdom. And not only was he just VP of Animal Kingdom for a year, but he was VP while Pandora was being planned. He helped usher in the Pandora and James Cameron work there at Animal Kingdom.
There you go.
From 2014 to 2017, he was Senior VP of Resorts and Transportation Operations at Walt Disney World. From 2017 to 2018, he was the CCO of Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Then for just a year, he was president of Disneyland. For another just a year, he was president of Walt Disney World. And then when Bob Chapek became the CEO, he was the chairman of Disney Experiences. And that is currently what his title is until next month.
Yeah.
So he goes. I said it our last show, and I'll say it on this. I'll say it again. I believe that besides your Roy Disney, besides your Roy E, Roy O, and Walt Disney's, I think Josh is at the best person to take over at this position because he knows basically what everything in the company at the parks level is.
Right.
Josh, and I think him keeping I forget what the other lady's name is for entertainment. I think keeping her on as the person to run entertainment is perfect for the movie side of Disney because he doesn't know that world. But as long as he has her to run the movie theaters and the movie arm of Disney and the ABC side of Disney, the parks is in the best position it's been in since Michael Eisner.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a couple decades.
It has. I think that one, Josh has the best mind to foresee what's this huge expansion at Disney World, because look at what we got for Pandora for Animal Kingdom. I think it's blown everybody's mind what they came up with, even when Disney didn't even own that IP.
Right.
What he got out of Imagineers with this new world is just blew my mind when I first saw it, and I think what we're getting for Villains will probably see that coming up. In fact, Dave,
yes, can we just touch on that for just a moment?
Yeah.
Because I sent this to you yesterday, I believe, and we had a little discourse about it. There's some talk in some Disney circles that what were the current plans on the table for Villains Land have been scrapped.
And I wonder if this is, hey, let's put the new CEO on put him out there on good terms, or was this Josh saying, nope, I'm in charge now. What you got, that ain't going to cut it anymore.
Well, and so I've had a little time to think about that.
Okay.
He was already over parks.
But he wasn't controlling the purse.
No, but
and that's the other part of it. What you and I saw and what I've seen because of that is that budget is now secondary. And that's something we never saw under Bob Paycheck or Bob Igor. And yes, I know I said Bob Paycheck over Bob Chapek. I think that was a Josh saying, I'm in control of the purse now. We're going to make it look good.
I'm not, like, I've not doubted that at all. Like right. This has Josh's fingertips written all over it. Like, hey, we're gonna, we swung big, but we now realize we could swing even bigger.
Right.
But like there's just this little part of me that's just back there like, well, Josh, you already had, call it 97% of the say so and what was going to happen. And is the 3% Iger? Is it the 3% the board? Does Josh just here we go? Forget the board at this point. This is what we're going to do. I mean, that's not going to be the case by any means, but it just, if you were going to swing your shot, dude, so I'm a little torn on some of the language maybe that's been going around. Like, this has been your project, Josh.
Yeah, but let's look at it this way.
And it's still going to have Iger's name.
I don't think so. I don't think so because we haven't really seen true dirt moving. I think Iger's name, you'll see Piston Peak having Iger's name. You'll see the South America at Animal Kingdom have Iger's name.
Yeah.
I think Villains will have Josh's name on it because we won't see true. Like, yes, there has been some dirt moved, but we won't see
You took
true.
pictures of it.
Yeah, but we won't see true. Holy crap! This is what's happening. And I think what we saw the pictures of and what I saw behind the scrim, I still think that was Piston Peak. Or is that kind of where villains are going to be?
It
I know. You're thinking. You're in deep thought mode.
Let's just move on.
Okay. Dave is torn right now between travel agent, diamond industry with Disney versus wanting to give his full opinion.
It's fine.
I know. I love it. I do. I love that. I do love that Josh is maybe throwing his stamp of approval on things. And
yeah.
You know,
Hey, like maybe they've discovered some new technology in the last 6 months or the vision boards that have been put together while they were really good. They would have been home runs. Now WDI has gone in and said, "Hey, we've got the grand slam."
well, we do know. Like last week, you and I saw that there were drawings of maybe some new ride vehicles and new ride types that were pushed forward. That could be Piston Peak or it could be Villains. You never know.
I'm about 99% sure that was the ride vehicles for the all-terrain experience.
Okay, well, that's going to be fun to see too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say this time next year, Dave.
Yep.
You and me have sat down. We're going to do. This is the year anniversary of Josh's takeover of Disney.
Yep.
What do we consider a good first 365 days as Disney CEO?
Well, so I think there is opportunity to do something this August that hadn't been done probably in the last 4 to 6 years.
Okay.
D23.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity because I fully expect. I mean, even though we'll have a new experiences president, maybe by then, I fully expect in some way, shape, or form, Josh is still going to be the face of that thing.
I think Josh will be. Josh is going to be the Michael Eisner CEO.
He's going to have some kind of role in the parks discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been up to this point been so hands-on with it anyways.
Right.
He's even I was reading an interview he had with Scott Gustin here recently. He's like, I'm not disappearing from the parks.
Good.
I'm not going to go hide in my corner office as CEO of the Walt Disney Company. Like, I'm still going to be as visible as I've ever been. It's just I'm stepping into a different role.
I wonder, and I'm just going to put a little teaser on this. I wonder if that was a veiled shot at two other people that share the same name.
Well, yeah, because you didn't see, and this is probably just common practice. I mean, I see it even in our own organization. You didn't see Iger without Josh,
Right.
or
Chapek without
without
Josh.
Vail, or like you didn't see him without another executive. He wasn't just out roaming around on his own. Now, Josh, I've heard from those in our organization, even like they've seen him just hanging out at the boardwalk.
I can
Or
tell you from personal experience that when COVID happened, we were on our second trip being DVC owners at Riviera. He was at the coffee bar, and I went up to him. Nobody was around him. I
Yeah.
shook his hand and said,
Yeah.
"Mr. DeMauro, I thank you for what you're doing." And he
Yeah.
sat and talked to me for 10 minutes.
That's incredible.
And that's I've had 2 interactions with him since then.
Yeah.
And I can say that the second in command 5 years ago at the Disney company sat there for 10 minutes and asked just some random
Right.
peon
Right.
what he thought and give me your opinions. He didn't have to do that. He could have just said thanks and went on his way. And he made me feel like he actually wanted my opinion.
Well, and I think a part of him did. Like he wants to know what to steal a line from the great Dusty Rhodes. Here's our every episode. He wants
Hello,
to hear
player.
from the common man.
Yeah. I think so. This is what I think is going to make Josh DeMauro different than Bob Iger, Bob Chapek. And this is why yeah, don't get me wrong. Josh DeMauro's a New England boy like Bob Iger is. Bob Iger's from New York. He went to Ithaca College. I mean, but Josh DeMauro knew what it was like to get his hands dirty.
Right.
Bob Iger worked as a weatherman. He never did do that. Not blue collar work. I don't think Josh DeMauro did blue collar stuff, but he was on the ground floor at Disney. He knew what made Disney tick.
You could find Josh picking up a piece of trash.
Exactly. And now look, am I putting Josh DeMauro on a pedestal? Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, I am.
We are.
I'll say it. I'm a Josh DeMauro fanboy. I always have been since I knew who he was in 2017 was the first time I became aware of Josh DeMauro. But knowing what I've seen of him in the public eye, I do believe that Josh DeMauro maybe holds the most Michael Eisner, Walt Disney style that we have ever seen in the past 30 years at Disney.
Would you say that style is a man of the boardroom or a man of the people?
A man of the people. It's because Josh DeMauro has gotten out there. Now, granted, is Josh DeMauro a chameleon? Yeah, he is. Look at how he dresses when he was standing next to Bob Iger versus how he dressed when he was standing next to Bob Chapek. When Chapek was around, he was in that suit without a tie, that Bob Chapek look.
Yeah.
When Bob Iger's around, Josh was wearing the sweater vest without a, just like Iger does. But that doesn't mean anything. It's how does Josh carry himself when he's without Iger or Chapek? When he's not around the CEO, he's out there shaking hands with cast members, holding town halls with cast members, really, truly wondering what they are doing and how they are doing in the midst of things. I know from certain cast members that he actually went out and talked with people during COVID and asked how their families were doing. So was he doing that to maybe bring some morale around? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He still had to work on the bottom dollar and make sure his people were working.
Yep.
But I truly do think he wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have gotten his hands dirty if he didn't feel like that's what he needed to do.
Right.
Did you see Bob Iger do that? No. Did you see Bob Chapek do that? No. Is that something you would have seen Michael Eisner do?
Yeah.
Probably. Is that something you would have seen Roy E. Disney do?
100%.
100%. Is that something that you would have seen? I don't know. Throw another Disney CEO out there.
Walt.
Yes.
Walt
See,
was pushing a shovel.
I didn't want to go there because I've already gone there. But
But I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, here's who I want to kind of frame my work habits and like who I want to be, who I want to model myself after.
yeah, I am going to say that, can Josh let us all down? Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
But I think that this is the time. Look, I've done other podcasts before about Disney, and I've had other podcast co-hosts that, Dave, you've heard me and some other people talk about,
Yeah.
that has some other opinions
Yep.
about Disney.
Yep.
I am going to say that this is the time of much celebration at Disney, and we think we should give Josh the benefit of the doubt until he lets us down.
Well, and here's the truth though, Dave. Like, he's not going to be everybody's person.
He's not.
So it's all relative anyway. Like, he's already let somebody down.
Yeah.
He's already, like scrapping the plans for Villains Land. Somebody's hacked. Somebody at Disney's hacked. Somebody in the Disney internet community is hacked. I mean, like, people are ticked because he's already changing things up, and like, we have no idea what that looks like.
Well, and not to come full circle with this, but the ultimate Disney CEO is Walt Disney, correct?
Yes, sir.
And were people happy with Walt Disney 24/7?
Nope.
There was an animator strike about Walt Disney.
I would go as far as to say that Walt wasn't happy with Walt 24/7.
You're not wrong.
Well, I mean, because Walt would have had to have made, because we all do this. Like, we have to make decisions that we don't like to make. Or we look back 6 weeks later, like, oh man, I really messed up. And we don't see those moments as much. We don't hear of those moments as much. But I Walt's just as human as anybody.
Yep.
So I mean, there would have been things that his hand was forced to do. I mean, think about his early years as an animator and like trying to get things done and trying to rally up money and like all of this stuff. And man, it wasn't easy.
Yeah. You're very true. I think that I think that we have to go into this, granted, we don't want to look at the world with Disney colored glasses. But I do think
I like my Disney colored lenses though.
I think that with, next month when Josh takes over as CEO, I think this is the time to start looking at the Disney Corporation with Disney colored lenses, because I coined this phrase a couple of, on the last episode. I'm going to do it again. I think we are looking on the prefaces of a Renaissance.
Yeah.
I truly do.
100%.
I think that we are now. Will we see that with the cartoons coming out? I don't know. Is this Hopper's going to be something that we're going to look back and say, wow, this is awesome. This is the start of it. No, I think the start comes with a Disney princess. Look at all the new eras that start. It was a new Disney princess. I do think we'll see a new princess come along, and that will be the start of a new era. I don't think we are going to see a Disney movie renaissance. I think we're about to get into the era of a park renaissance, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time.
And we need that.
Very much so.
And I am even of the belief, just because of what I've been reading here lately, Disney might become affordable again.
I've seen a lot where
Eisner has been talking, and Eisner hadn't stepped foot on Disney grounds in a while. I mean, like,
he gave an interview in front of the building.
Yeah, but he's been done. You know, he's retired. Like, hey, that's my past life. I've moved on.
Makes me wonder, and I don't think we'll ever hear this at all, but it makes me wonder if Josh reached out. I wonder, because you and I are both fans of very traditional colleges.
Yeah.
And we have seen coaches come in and try to reset a culture.
Right.
And when you try to reset a culture, you immediately shut off the past.
Right.
And when you shut off the past, you alienate 80% of your fan base.
Until you start winning.
And well, not even that. The reason hear me out. Because from an Alabama fan standpoint, I don't know if they've ever done this at Texas A&M, but Alabama fan in the early 2000s, we had a guy named Dennis Franchione, who you are very,
very, very aware of.
And Dennis Franchione came in and shut off the past. Basically, he said, "The bear is dead. We're going to move on with this new culture." Well, 2 years later, Fran was run out of town to go to some other traditional college that we don't like. But when Fran did that, he alienated half of Alabama's fan base.
Right.
That didn't get rejuvenated until Alabama found some blood that threw in their new say, but also brought in that old tradition and married the two.
Yeah.
That makes me think that maybe we've seen Josh D'Amaro reach out to Michael Eisner, who is the embodiment of Disney of the past, and say, "Hey, you might not have felt welcome under the Bobs.
Yeah.
And you're not in charge anymore, but I do want your insight of what you did right and maybe what you did wrong to help me grow and throw my 2 cents in on it."
Sure. And I mean, that would be, I mean, even as just somebody, he's going to have Iger's ear until Lord takes one of them home.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that perhaps he'll have Eisner's ear as well. And is that because Eisner loves the Disney brand so much?
No.
Or is Eisner see an opportunity? Hey, I didn't have as much of a voice, even though I helped select my predecessor. You know, like I chose Iger, but I didn't have much of a voice or much influence over the last 20 years of the Walt Disney Company. You know, maybe this is a way to kind of go back in, and again, I'm just a background player, but I am a sounding board. I am I am someone with years of wisdom, and I've been in that seat. I've felt that pressure. I've seen the darts come from every which end.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And Dave, we've only got a couple more minutes of this show.
Yep.
But you brought up something that makes me want to move kind of into our next segment here. Let's look at Bob Iger's 25 years at Disney.
Yeah.
And let's maybe say if down 25 years later we'll see Bob Iger as a hero, a villain, or kind of neutral. So I've got 6 things, Sarah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 things, 7 things that Bob is known for.
Yep.
In 2006, just a year after he became CEO, he acquired Pixar for $7.4 billion. And then the most Disney thing I think Bob Iger did, he traded the rights for Oswald for Al Michaels. That's how Disney got the rights for Oswald back, just by giving away the rights for Al Michaels.
Yeah.
Cool.
Disney won.
As a sports guy,
Bro.
I think that was a tie. Al Michaels, come on. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. The greatest sports call of all time. Okay, Dave has
No, like
as a sports guy, Al Michaels is huge.
absolutely. I'm not dissing Al Michaels. I just see Oswald as the bigger thing.
I agree. So, and that's something I want to we'll maybe get into later. But I think that bringing Oswald back, while huge, while great, I love it, is also maybe throwing Disney's biggest failure back into the company. Because, but think about it, without losing Oswald, there would have been no strive for Mickey.
Yeah.
And to make Mickey work. So I love Oswald. Oswald's probably one of my favorite characters. But it's because of how rare Oswald was that made him my favorite character. Now he's everywhere. So
he's not at Walt Disney World.
I know, and I'm not happy about that.
But he's at Disneyland, and I've had my picture with him.
And every time I've been to Disneyland, he's not been out. I am not happy about this.
Why
my magic band,
Dave, and you're Disney World, Dave.
My magic band is Oswald.
Nice.
And I have not met Oswald yet. Okay, anyway.
Odds Club 33.
Yes, I know. Bob Iger gave us Oswald for Al Michaels. In 2009, for $4 billion, he acquired Marvel.
Yep.
In 2012, which some Disney fans will say is a huge plus, some will say is a huge minus.
Yep.
He acquired Lucasfilm for $4 billion. Mandalorian and Grogu trailer came out today. I've watched it 6 times already. I can't wait. In 2015, he opened Shanghai Disney.
Hey, can I give you just a hot take?
Okay.
And actually, honestly, I don't think it's going to be that hot.
You don't like Star Wars?
No, I love Star Wars. But Star Wars under Disney has been highly disappointing.
Oh, that's not a hot take. That's a
well. I mean, there will be some who think that episodes 7, 8, 9 were the best, and the series that you've got and the cartoons, like, and I'm not dogging any of it because I've seen it all. Like we've got the Legos, we've got the stuff. We've got the droids, we've got the swords, like we've done it. But it's been a huge disappointment.
It has. It has. I would say that it's hard for me because I like the character of Rey because of what it's meant for my daughter. It's brought females more into to Star Wars, but I believe that the characters were not as thought out as they were under George Lucas. So I don't know. Yes, it's been a failure. I'm going to say that. But I do think that we are moving in the right direction. I do think that that might have been a little bit of Kathleen Kennedy, and Kathleen Kennedy is now gone. We get the return of Dave Filoni, and I think what George Lucas had in mind for Star Wars. We'll see. We'll see what happens going forward.
Here's what we know: George got paid.
George got paid,
and he had to sign off on it.
He did, and because Filoni is back, Filoni is in charge. I think that we're going to get Lucas bringing some more insight back in.
Yeah. I think ultimately he's still been an influence in the brand as a whole. He's not been the loudest influence. He's not been the most influential, but he's still had a seat at the table. It's just further and further and further back.
Yeah,
than it was at the head of the table.
Agreed. So we said 2015 Shanghai Disney is around. Yeah. This is where I think Bob Iger falls off.
Okay.
2018, for $71.3 billion, he acquired Fox.
Billion.
I know he did this to bring the mutant saga to Marvel, but this is where I think Disney lost its image. And then in 2019, he launched Disney Plus and went synergy to bring Hulu and ESPN all on the same app.
Yeah. I will say Disney Plus has been well received in the Madron household.
It's been well received in the Addams household as well. But
it has been good. It has been good.
There are things on the Disney Plus app that I'm not a fan of.
Sure.
When I open up Disney, I don't want to see some things I see on the front page.
Right. And I'm not a fan of the commercials.
Right.
Not a fan of that.
So
not a fan of having to pay extra to get rid of the commercials.
Right. So Bob Iger is this, in my mind, I think he is right smack dab in the middle of, wow, he did so much for the company, but wow, he did so much to bring the brand down. It's there's a huge peak and a huge valley in my mind with Bob Iger.
So you would be like a moderate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that in 20 years, we'll look back and say Bob Iger did great, but he also did a whole lot of bad. I don't know if we're going to be able to say the good outweighs the bad or the bad outweighs the good, because we have to also remember Eisner had a lot of bad too after Frank Wells died.
Right.
So 20 years back of Eisner, we're looking on good things of Eisner. I don't know what we'll be able to say about Iger right now.
Here's what I would deem the black eyes. Fox, black eye.
Big.
Chapek, black eye.
Mm-hmm.
The 50th, black eye. And I'm putting that on Iger.
You have to put a little bit of that on COVID.
Agreed, but like he knew what he was doing.
Agreed.
He knew what he was doing.
Getting politicized with Disney.
It was the pilot move where he was just trying to wash his hands of it.
Right. Making Disney a political figure.
Yeah.
Black eye.
Black eye. Right, wrong, or different. This is, hey, we respect what you think. We respect what you believe. You may not agree with what I believe. I may not agree with what you believe, but you will not hear any disrespect on this podcast about what you believe.
Here's the way I look at it, Dave, and I think the left can agree with me, the right can agree with me, and the middle of the line can agree with me. I don't want Mickey Mouse telling me abortion's right or abortion's wrong. I don't want Mickey Mouse telling me that we should let in a flood of immigrants or we should cut off the borders. I want Mickey Mouse telling me, hey, Minnie, I don't want Mickey Mouse in my politics.
Right.
Hook, line, and sinker. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And yes, I did do a Mickey Mouse impression on this podcast.
And it was pretty spot on. Great job, sir.
Thank you. So,
yeah, so I still think I'm of the belief, and I'm never this way to a fault. So like I'm surprising myself a little bit. I am going to be a glass half full kind of guy when it comes to Iger.
okay.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say 20 years down the road from now, even though you have these glaring black eyes, that the good was still bigger than the bad.
I like it.
I mean, the acquisitions, even though there have been questionable things that have come out of those acquisitions, that ultimately those acquisitions, because they could have gone anywhere, they could have gone to any entity.
Yeah.
But they did land in the lap of the largest entertainment entity in the world. And so if I were to have, if I were to want anybody to have say so, to have buying power, spending power, I do trust Disney with that.
I agree.
I do. So I think I can look into the year 2046 and look back at Iger's reign, and he'll be, in the grave for 15, 20 years, or at least 15 years by that point. I'm guessing maybe 10, 15 years. And be like, you know what? Robert Iger did a lot of good for the Disney brand.
And, I can look, we're not even a month away from the end of his reign. And I can look and say he did a lot of good for the Disney brand. But he also, in my mind, did a lot of good of ruining the Disney name for the Disney brand. I think, and I've said it on the show before, I think he has flattened the name a little bit by bringing too much into the Disney brand. I love that we have Star Wars. I love that we have Marvel. I love that we have the mutant saga in Marvel now.
And we even have the rights to The Simpsons.
Now that I don't think is Disney brand. That's one of the things I don't want to see on my Disney Plus screen.
I want to see it all over Disney's Hollywood Studios.
No, I do. I
want Homer on a bus. Actually, I want Otto. I want Otto on a bus.
Did you not see some of the bus drivers last month, Dave? I think we got some Otto.
I don't get on the bus.
Oh. Well, that's where we'll leave this discussion. Yeah. The rest of it will be up to you to discuss in the comments on TikTok, where I post our little rants on here. Yep. When I post it on Facebook, I want some comments. I want to know what you think 25 years down the road Bob Iger will be thought of, and next year what you think Josh D'Amaro can do to be a successful first year. So Dave, if they would like to book travel with Dave Adams or Dave Madron, how would they do so? Because you had a really good rant on Facebook yesterday that I needed to hear at that exact moment. Well, so give me a little bit of that, Dave.
Yeah. So, and I took some snippets from that 15 minutes. I was kind of all over the place. Kind of reverted to a former life, if you will.
And God said,
I'd gotten a text over it like that was Pastor Dave right there. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, what I'm reminded of Dave, is I'm not guaranteed a single booking as a travel agent.
Right.
I'm not guaranteed a single conversation about travel with anyone. And that if I want those things to happen, if I want my book of business as a travel agent to grow, if I want to book Disney, I want to book DCL, I want to book Adventures by Disney, I want to book Universal, I want to book all inclusives, I want to book the world. Like, I've got to be the one to go chase it and make it happen. I can't wait for it to fall in my lap because I'm not guaranteed that.
That's true.
And so that mindset applies beyond selling travel. You've got to go chase your dreams. Your dreams aren't going to necessarily just fall in your lap and it all just unfolds perfectly. No, you've got to go chase it. You've got to go put some work into the things that you've been dreaming about, the things that you and a spouse or a best friend or whatever this looks like have been dreaming on. Like, you've got to go and do the things to set those things in motion. And Dave, for you and I, as travel agents, it's a matter of us just showing up.
One thing you said that really stuck with me is you get to be a part of that single mom who doesn't think that they can take their kid on a vacation, but you find a way to do it. You get to be a part of that restoration story of a husband and wife who have been on the rocks for years, but decide to take that moment and take a step to do something at a all inclusive, and you talk to them. You get to be part of that story, not a big part. You get to be a small part just by assisting them to go on a vacation they never thought they could go on.
Yeah, and Dave, I've seen that happen so many times in my book of business. Just back on the 12th, I started year 7, wrapped up year 6, start year 7, the travel industry, and there's probably a handful of couples that I've been a part of their restoration process.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of travel, I've helped couples come together and do destination weddings and engagement parties and vow renewals and just the first vacations and Dave, even the last vacation. But I'm not guaranteed any of it at
And
the end of the day.
I'm going to say something that might sound a little funny, because in this economy and world that we live in, everything you do for a dollar, you do for a buck. Dave and I, at the end of the day, we're not in the travel agent industry to make a buck. And if we were, we're in the wrong industry.
Right.
Yeah, I started being a travel agent because it funds my travel habit.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, and I think I can say this for Dave too, we're in the travel agent industry because we enjoy helping people do things that they didn't think that they could do on their own.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's the joy we see coming out of that. It's the pictures we see on Facebook of little Timmy at 4 years old smiling at the beach because he's never seen the sand before, or little Sally in front of a castle holding a princess's hand because she's dreamed of this for 4 years. Or the husband and wife who are smiling from ear to ear because they get to do something. That's the gratification I
Right.
am in this industry for.
Right. 100%.
So
While it does help pay bills and take care of things and all that, at the end of the day, it really, I think your heart and my heart really is like it is greater good of what we get to do in helping make moments that last a lifetime.
yeah.
For people, for individuals.
Yep. I've always said, and if you look at my TikTok, by the way, Dave Adams Travels on TikTok.
At, at Travelmation Dave.
Yep. If you look at our TikToks and mine, my top 3 videos are Disney's not about the one going once. It's about the moments. In fact, the very first pin of my TikTok right now is I walk under the little tunnel. And I say, every time I walk under this tunnel, no matter how many times I do it, it's a new adventure. And then I go through all the rest of the video is my girls growing up at Disney. And I don't go, it's the same thing we said earlier in the show. I don't go to Disney to see Mickey or Minnie. If I'm on Main Street watching a parade, I see the family.
Yeah.
That's enjoying it. I see, and then I see my girls growing up and remember those moments. I love helping other families see those moments.
Yep.
So both mine and Dave's link trees are on our TikToks. We'd love to help you. We would love the opportunity to help you with these moments. Dave, we always end it with a Walt Disney quote.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And I've got one I think fits in with what we've been talking about. Why do we have to grow up? I know more adults who have the child's approach to life. There are people who don't give a hang with the Joneses do. That's actual quote. I didn't miss it up. You see them at Disneyland every time you go there. They're not afraid to be delighted with simple pleasures. And they have a degree of contentment with what life has brought. And sometimes it isn't even much.
Love that.
Think on that for a minute, because I know myself, I am very guilty of trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Oh, sure.
But there's a simple pleasure in just enjoying life. I have a friend of mine on TikTok, and I said it to her today. I'll shout her out, Michaela. She's an amazing person, and she's admitted to me, she said, life has thrown a lot of hardship in her way. But every time you've seen me retweet her stuff on TikTok, she's so happy with life. And I told her today, I said, Michaela, I want your energy in life. She said, it's taken me a while to get there, but you have to focus on the good things life and God has given you. And when you do, it's hard to be down.
That's it.
That's it. And
that's the message.
We finish the show every time talking about this, and I'm going to say it again. Guys, we love you. You can't imagine how much we love that you spend some time to listen to us, but we do not love you near as much as our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ does. And we'd love for you to know that opportunity as well. So, guys, thank you for spending time with us. This was a long show, and we'll keep it shorter next time, but we'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye, y'all.
Our time together is fading fast, but the spirits never rest. If you enjoyed this ghoulish delight, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. It helps keep the spirit energy alive. Until next time, remember, foolish mortals who listen closely just might hear whispers from beyond, haunting you until you remember to listen to our soothing voices on our next episode. Hurry back, hurry back, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.